We are back, guys. How's everybody doing? I hope y'all enjoyed your holidays. Listen, I had to take a break from this channel. I actually have other channels and I had to put together a schedule because I was tired. Okay. So moving on with this particular channel, I will be going live daily at 10:30 and let me check my notes. But I think it's 10:30 and 5:30. Yeah, I think it's 10:30 and 5:30. So I'll be going live on this channel for 1 hour to talk about politics. Now, it's a lot going on in politics. I know you guys have heard about Renee. Let me just get the information correctly because I don't forgot. The female that was unalived in what was that in Minnesota, Renee Good is her name. Now, if you guys have been watching anything with regards to the news and according to, Donald Trump and his administration, a lot of the things that they're saying just don't add up. They pretty much call this woman a terrorist, and I'm not sure how she was a terrorist when I don't know if you guys have saw that video, but I'm going to show the video. There is a video of her talking to the ICE officials. She appears to be calm. She appears to be polite, and she does not appear to be a threat. Okay. Now, I don't know, if you were a Trump supporter. If you were a Trump supporter, it seems like about this time you wouldn't be a Trump supporter. Okay. But, of course, in Donald Trump fashion, they have said some really bad things about this lady, and I don't agree because keep in mind, as a law enforcement officer, obviously you should protect yourself, but we see no situation where they were, don't look like they was in any harm at this point. If you guys watch the video, because there's a lot of videos from different angles, it appears that the police or the ICE agents had an issue with her girlfriend. This has nothing to do with her. The girlfriend is a whole nother woman. She's driving the vehicle. She was being nice. She was being polite. What I'm seeing from the videos that I have saw, and I'm going to show them to you guys as well, it appears as if she was leaving, which, she has a right to leave.
But in the midst of her leaving, they tell her to stop. But also, there's information out there where they were telling her to leave. So it's just like, you know, this is not good. It's really bad, and it, you know, makes people afraid to really go out in the community. And unfortunately, this corrupt administration and Donald Trump, the felons, okay, he has all of these felonies on his record, and this man operates in corruption. But I have a video that I want you guys to see. It's about, I believe it's about 3 minutes. Now, in this particular video, it gives you, it says 3 minutes and 31 seconds. So this is for 3 minutes. So let's watch this video. And then after you guys see this video, let me know what you think, because there seems to be a lot of different videos. I want to say this though. I don't see why they took this woman's life. Somebody is driving off and you pow them in the face. Make it make sense. So let's watch this video right here. And y'all just let me know what y'all think, because I'm gonna watch it right with you. Oh shucks, wait a minute. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure you are liking the video. Okay, guys, so let's pay attention. As you all can see, it looks like she's blocking and blowing, but let's not, get all nasty and say that, oh, she deserved it. That's not the way that it goes. Now, while it appears that she is blocking something of some sort, I believe that arresting her then, but the way that this was handled, it still is not right. I mean, you don't just unalive a person because they are not following instructions. Come on, people, like let's not just start making up shit here. Let's finish watching it, but it appears from what I see that she's blocking something. It looks like she is causing a disturbance. That's what it looks like to me. I'm just here to see, talk about what we see. Okay. So what we do know from that video, which was about 3 minutes and I believe 32 seconds long, it looks like she was blocking traffic. It looks like she was blocking traffic. So now that's more information than I had originally because again, we don't really know what happened. But what we do know, and we're going to show some more videos, is that she was driving off. Now, the claim about she hit the officer, now that's a lie. That's a lie. And we're going to get into that because there were witnesses there, and we're going to get into what the actual witnesses said. The witnesses said that she did not hit an officer. There is nobody in the hospital. There's no injuries. So we know that that is a lie. We're not really here to make up stuff. We don't really care who if you like Donald Trump or if you do like him or don't. None of that even matters. This has well, it does have something to do with Donald Trump, but we're strictly talking about Renee Good for this particular video. So we're going to get into, because I know some people are saying that she hit the officer, but unfortunately, you guys were not there. And it looks like and it's several witnesses that were there. That is not what they're saying. So the witnesses, let's get into what these witnesses are saying because we wasn't there. We can just really go on what they are reporting because there were people there and that nobody is saying that. So let's kind of get into this one right here.
Car crashed after that shooting in Minneapolis. For security reasons, Betsy has asked us not to include her last name, but she is choosing to speak out now and share what she saw because it is so important. And Betsy, I appreciate you doing this, and I know you had hesitation, and it's very understandable, of course, that you do. I know you were outside and you were on a walk. You hear the whistles, which sometimes can alert people that ICE is nearby that have been used over these months, and then you're 4 to 5 feet away from all of this horrible incident and tragedy that unfolded. What can you share with me about what you saw?
Thanks, Erin. So I was returning home from a dog walk. I was heading west on 34th Street toward Portland Avenue, and I turned right onto Portland. I was heading north on Portland on the east side of the street. So I was on the opposite side of the street from where most of the observers were standing. And what I saw when I came around the corner was a maroon SUV. I could see a driver in the car. There were a number of neighbors who were observers of the activity on the west side of Portland Avenue, making sounds with whistles. And there were a number of what appeared to be federal agents in the street. One of the agents was yelling at the driver through the window of the car. At this time, her car was diagonal on Portland Avenue with the front of her car facing toward the southeast intersection. I could tell from the movements of her hands, she was endeavoring to kind of adjust her car so it was facing south. And as she began to accelerate her vehicle, what the agent standing next to the driver's side window and who was yelling at her through the window extended his arm and fired his gun multiple times. At that point, the car did begin to accelerate a little bit, but you could
So keep in mind, this is a total stranger, guys. So she has no reason to make this up. And this is similar to what we're seeing online. Now, the video that I just showed you all, we see she was sitting there, looked like she wasn't moving. She was, it looks like she had an issue with ice. Now, from what I'm learning is the people were whistling and doing all of these sorts of motions to kind of let people know that ice was in the area. So did she need to be there? Probably no, but we're not going to act ignorant here. Her being there, if, she was breaking the law, arrest her. Why did the lady have to get, I mean, that isn't justification. So let's let the video play. But I just wanted to point that out. The lady that has come forward, she doesn't know these people. So she doesn't have a reason to lie either way, because she was just a witness that happened to be driving by. So you guys know that, this is just a witness, and she's only speaking out because she, found out that the lady had passed on. So if that helps.
And the car was kind of moving toward where I was standing. So I could get a clear view of the driver. I could see her head lolled back onto the headrest. I could see a lot of blood. The car quickly began to decelerate and collided with a parked car that was just a few feet away from where I was standing.
I'm sorry that you had to see that. It's just horrific. Betsy, what you're describing, though, because now we have all seen these videos so many times, the videos, some of the ones that we're showing obviously are from the other vantage point, but you're actually saying you were on the other side of the street, which is really crucial because we haven't heard from people who've had that perspective. So you're actually looking, as opposed to what we're looking at now, which is from the back of the car, essentially from the front. It sounds like what you're saying, and I know that you don't know and I don't know, but what you're saying in terms of when she accelerated would be consistent with the fact that after she shot, sort of the last thing that happens horribly as she's dying is that her foot may have hit the accelerator.
And as we all see here, I don't know if you guys saw that. I tried to stop it, but you can kind of see the shot. Again, if the justification was you felt like you were in danger, then the car should have been coming at you. A car going that way does not really justify. Now, I know people are putting in the chat that they were bothering them and was following them around. Now, that may very well be true. But again, I'm not sure then why the person wasn't arrested or why she wasn't arrested. I mean, that's not, justifiable. If somebody was following you around, harassing you or keeping you from doing whatever job you were sent there to do, I don't think, the course of action should have been that, that's just, it's still not justified.
Yeah. And I want to be really clear on the position that I was looking at the car. I was on the east side of the street. So I was kind of like in front of and on the driver's side of the scene. And I could clearly see the agent standing next to the driver's side window. There were no agents standing in front of the car. Agents were standing next to the car. So when they say,
I know obviously we've heard the version of events that she plowed through him. Obviously that's not consistent with what you saw at all. But even when it comes to bumping him, is that word even fair?
No, not that I didn't see anybody get bumped. The agents were moving toward the vehicle. They were gesturing at the driver. They were yelling at her. They were agitated, but they were not in danger of being injured or hurt by the vehicle at all.
And I know after this, when you saw her head lolled back and, you had that horrific, unfortunately, vantage point, you saw the other woman covered in blood who you say was then trying to provide aid to the driver, to the victim. She's identified herself as the victim's wife. What can you share about her and your interaction with her?
So immediately after the collision, I saw a woman run across the street who had been over on the west side of Portland Avenue. She ran across the street ran to the car, ran to the driver's side door, flung the door open. She moved her body into the car, trying to provide aid to the driver. She was extremely distressed. She was yelling, "Somebody get help, call 911. Why is nobody helping?" And at that moment, I was standing just 5 or 6 feet away. And so I pulled my phone out of my pocket and attempted to dial 911. I was not able to get through. And at that moment, I did have my phone in my hand, and it occurred to me to try to take some video. But as I looked up, federal agents were beginning to approach the scene of the collision, and they were holding firearms and forcefully commanding bystanders to move away from the scene.
And also, so in the video where you guys see that the federal agent fired, he already had the weapon out. So I'm a little bit confused as to why the weapon would have been out in the first place. Okay. Then, even after the collision, now this isn't the first person, but this is a witness that's actually saying, even after the collision, I mean, it's clear that this woman lost control of the car and she collided into something. Even then, they say nobody was moving to get medics on scene. There's actually a doctor that was there that actually offered to help, and they said no. So there's a lot of things that, appear to have went wrong here that could have went another way had, looked like, they would have followed some type of protocol. And there is also information out there, and they actually went through the DHS rules with regards to things like this. And they also said that these actions were totally inappropriate. But this is just one witness that we're listening to her statement. There are tons of witnesses. The only thing about this, though, he can be charged with a state crime. With the state crime, though, Donald Trump cannot pardon him. Donald Trump can pardon him, obviously, from, a federal crime. But if he's charged, with a state crime, Donald Trump can't do anything. So who knows what's going to happen with this? Let's just, I guess, finish listening to her statement.
Which was very scary and intimidating given everything that had just happened. And so I felt really scared, and I moved away from the doorway of the building I was standing in front of and into the yard on the side of the building. And that's when I began to take a little bit of video of the scene in which you can see, agents moving toward the vehicle and the collision.
Yes, we can. All right. Well, Betsy, thank you very much for choosing to speak, and the perspective that you had where you were standing is so crucial, as it's so important to get the facts out here. So thank you for choosing to do that. And again, I know understandable hesitation. So thank you.
CNN's Tom Foreman is here in studio with me now. Tom, give us a closer look of the videos of the shooting so we can analyze how the sequence of event lines up with what federal officials are claiming happened.
There are so many to look at. They all tell parts of the same story. I will say there are none of them that present clear evidence that this officer was ever struck. Might have been, but you can't really tell. Let's take a look at one important video here that I think we have to look at. This is one that has come out that we've been very interested in. Look at this car sitting right here. This is Renee Good's car. In this video, it spends more than 4 minutes that we know of, or about around 4 minutes in this position. We don't know when it started before that. So if you thought she was just driving by, this video would suggest otherwise. It sits here letting some cars pass.
Now, guys, this is kind of bringing together the first video I showed you, because I know, people said that she was just passing by. She definitely wasn't just passing by, because as he's showing on the screen here, her car was there for about, I think he said like 4 minutes. In the video that I showed you, it was like 3 minutes and I think 23 seconds. So, these videos are provided by people who may live in the area. And it seems like she she clearly was probably messing with these folks. Okay, let's just be honest. But what happened to her, that's not justified. But she wasn't just riding through. Now, we know that based on even this video that we're going to look at, where she is just sitting there. So looks like, they were mad. They were mad. And it looks like this is what they did to get back at her, which still, is not justified. Officers should not be drawing their weapons, pulling them out, unaliving folks because you're mad because of something somebody did. If she was obstructing or whatever, then they should have arrested her. But this is not the way that, this should go. It's definitely not the way that this should have been handled.
Some seemingly not. You start seeing people walk around it here. Included in that part is actually the officer in question here. If you look at this portion right here, you can see that he's the man who's starting to walk around the side.
Looks like he's holding a phone to film it.
Yeah, he's holding a phone. A woman behind him is holding a phone to film him. But he is circling around what would be sort of the blind side of her car, because you see her arm hanging out. She's been waving at cars to come past in front of her vehicle here. Then we move into the timeline of this that really matters. We're going to start this at the point where the officers are out of their car, approaching her car, to give you an idea of how fast that part came about here. If you'll notice, here they come out of the car, they're approaching. About 1 second has passed here. They go up, they start yanking at the door. Now we're at about 2 seconds. The officer in question is invisible back here. We saw
he's behind the car over there somewhere.
Circled around here. Yeah. He's coming around toward the front of the car. He still has his phone in his hand. This will happen very fast. It's hard to watch, but in a very short period of time, you'll see her tires angle the other way as he comes over here, and in sort of a flash, he puts down his phone. He pulls out his gun as her taillights change to show that she is in drive. This happens very, very rapidly, but at the angle of her wheels at that moment.
So we should be looking at the wheels and also
it's a lot to watch,
also the shooter.
I'll see if I can stop it at that very moment as it goes forward. As you see him start coming around the side of the vehicle, if I can start playing again here, as he comes around, there he is. And you see, he just pulled his gun. They're still here.
And her tire is turning right.
The lights have already changed. She's changed here. And now she starts moving forward. We're 4 seconds into this, 4 seconds in. And he starts coming forward with this. She's moving forward.
Bang.
Bang. First shot, 2 more shots there, and on they go. And this whole thing is done in 9 seconds.
Now, we don't know which of those shots was.
Now, guys, that was really interesting, and I like how they broke that down. So I'm going to say it's not justified, because that guy had his weapon out and was aimed at her. And I'm still trying to figure out, when the police pull their weapons on you, is it supposed to be to arrest you, or is it because they feel like their lives are in danger? I'm not understanding here. Nobody was trying to run you over. The wheels are going this way. So where's the justification in this? You don't pull your weapon on somebody to arrest them. That is not how it goes. So I'm going to say this doesn't look justified at all. It don't matter if you like Donald Trump, if you like him or you don't. We're talking about this. This is not justified. So in 9 seconds, this woman had already been unalived. This is not right. This is not right. Not right.
The fatal shot, but it does seem potentially important if the one that he shot in front of her when he thought, presumably, that she was headed towards him, whether that was the fatal shot, or the ones where obviously he's next to her,
shooting through the side, the driver's
side window,
where of course the vehicle is not approaching him anymore.
Right,
maybe parallel to him,
right,
but it's not approaching him anymore. And the bullet hole in the window is pretty low to have been something that hit her in the head. Bullets can behave strangely, but nonetheless, that's the other part we know about it. And then afterward, the other thing we see is that this is right afterward, and he is walking away here.
This is him.
Yeah, remember though, this is a man who the president, the vice president, and the secretary of Homeland Security has said was hit by a car.
Well, Trump said he was run over.
Right, run over by a car.
And had to go to the hospital. Here he is walking.
So here he's walking along.
And let's address those lies. When you start to tell lies, people just don't believe anything that you say. Now, Donald Trump came out and told a lie, like he always does. He's a liar, and said that this man had been run over. He had to go to the hospital. None of that was true. It was a lie. This guy walked off They put him in a car and he was sped off. This guy was not run over. So if this is supposed to be justified, why the lies? Why not just tell what happened instead of adding all of these lies, which, you know, that's what Donald Trump does. I mean, he's a devout liar.
And he starts gesturing and yelling for them to say, hey, we need to get an ambulance here for this person. He walks back that way to join the rest of them. That is the aftermath of this. And you can see him walking again there. And
He's checking his phone. He doesn't appear to be in any pain, at least as far as we can tell.
There. So you put all these videos together. It's a little hard to establish all the details of the story. But what you do not have here, I mean, here's another way of looking at it. If you imagine the person in the car to be a police officer and the people approaching to be protesters, would a protester have been justified in saying that officer was threatening me with his car? That's I think what a judge, a jury, investigator, somebody will probably have to look at some point.
All right, Tom.
Woo. Well, part of the problem is we have an administration that all they do is lie. There's no accountability to anything. We generally cannot believe shit that they say. We actually have to go and find videos of people that recorded this to really get an idea of what really happened, because we don't know what happened. We really don't. Donald Trump came out and said that, you know, this guy had been run over, and clearly he was not run over. Now, the woman that was shot by federal immigration agents in Minnesota, her name was Renee Nicole Good. She was a 37-year-old mother. She had 3 children. She had just moved to the city. She was a prize-winning poet and a hobby guitarist who city leaders have said was there as a legal observer of immigration and customs enforcement ICE activities. So she wasn't just passing by. It looks like she was there to observe ICE activities. But we know that the Trump administration has called this lady a domestic terrorist. Good's death has sparked protests across the country, with many people holding signs that read "Justice for Renee." Her mother, Donna Ganger, told the Minnesota Star Tribune that her daughter was probably terrified during this confrontation with officers that saw her, that pretty much fatally shot her. Her mother says that she was one of the kindest people that you would ever know. She was extremely compassionate. This is what her mother told the Daily newspaper. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. Now, her father, Tim Ganger, told the Washington Post that she had a good life, but a hard life. Now, they have since started a fundraiser for Renee, and this fundraiser, which was set up to target $50,000, has raised more than $1.4 million. What are y'all saying in the chat? But she didn't follow instructions. And I agree, but those are like 2 different things. And had they arrested her, we would be having a different conversation. The fact of the matter is, the woman shouldn't be dead. You don't die for not following instructions. That's just not how it goes. So we can't justify one wrong for another wrong. She didn't follow instructions, arrest the woman. I mean, you don't get to unalive somebody for not following instructions. So that's just not the way that it goes. You don't get to lose your life for not following instructions. And that is what the issue is here. Was this justified? Let's get into what's going on in Minnesota, because as I stated, there are a lot of different protests and things of that nature, because overall people don't feel as though it's justified, because generally You know, if somebody is not following the rules, we don't just, you know, unalive folks. We, you know, we arrest them, and this didn't happen. This didn't happen. And it could be, you know, obviously they are hiring all of these ICE agents, and they just don't seem to have the skill set to do this job, other than want the big bonuses and the money that they're receiving.
Ryan, I know you've been working on this as well. We got word just a short time ago that there is some new video that Fox News channel has obtained that was actually taken from ICE agent John Ross's cell phone. He's now been identified as the agent who was there on Wednesday. He's accused of firing the shots that killed Renee Good at 34th and Portland. In other videos that we have seen out there, you see the ICE agent holding a phone in some of those. And apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is some of the video from his actual perspective from that
Correct,
that
from
phone.
his perspective
Okay.
and the moments up until and beyond when that car comes by him.
Okay, we're gonna play that for you here with just a bit of a heads up, a warning that you will see Renee Good behind the wheel of the vehicle in the moments before she was killed. It stops when the shots are fired, but we just want to let you know that is what you're going to be seeing if you choose to watch.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad.
Now, in this video here, she says, that's fine. I'm not mad. She presented as, I mean, she did not present as a hostile person. So this seems like it just went too far. She is not angry. She's not yelling. She's like, that's fine, dude. So she's not even presenting in a matter that you would think that she was some kind of danger to anybody. So none of this is making a whole lot of sense to me, okay? This is not adding up. This woman shouldn't have been shot.
That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Whoa.
So again, that is the first time now that we have seen that video again shared. We don't know where the video came from. I mean, this is from a cell phone, apparently from that agent. So not sure where it came from exactly, but we do know the FBI is in charge of this investigation now. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which is the state investigative arm, has been told by the FBI that they will not have access to any of the evidence, the vehicle, forensic testing, that kind of thing, that the FBI is going to be doing this solo. So that, again, we just wanted to show you that video. That you may be seeing that out there today. Ryan, has been.
Well, you know, I was a bunch of weirdos in the chat. I mean, it's weirdos. I don't know. It's just something that comes with supporting Donald Trump that brings out the weirdos. If it's not people that like doing dirty things to kids, it's the weirdos that like to see people get hurt. So I'm not surprised. Weird comes with Donald Trump and the entire MAGA nuts, because MAGA is nuts. So this guy needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, okay? Hopefully he goes to jail and Bubba and them and Ray and them whoop his ass, okay? Because not only did you shoot you did that to a woman, it wasn't necessary. If you guys are watching the video, they had the lady's license plates number. But my goodness, I mean, you could have went to her house and arrested her. But this is what happens when you have a dumb president, uneducated president with no college degree, but he has a whole bunch of felonies. One thing Donald Trump is going to do is rack up the felonies. One thing Donald Trump is going to do is continue to break laws. One thing Donald Trump is going to do is continue to steal money. You guys know he's trying to get $6 million now from the state of Georgia. All Donald Trump is a thug, PEDO. pedo that hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, that's all he is. Donald Trump is not doing anything for the American people but causing and wreaking havoc in our society. And if you support Donald Trump, either you're broke, you're miserable, or you fall into any of those categories that I just named. Now, hopefully, this lady and her family receives justice for what he did, because what he did was unalive somebody, and he's not justified. He's not justified. And that's it. Now, what's going on in Minneapolis? Because we have an uneducated, dumb president. I don't even want to call Donald Trump dumb. I want to call him stupid. I think stupid is a better word for the pedo president. So this is now what's going on in Minnesota, thanks to dumb Donald Trump. Now, you know, you have all these agents out here, you got the people going back and forth with the agents. All Donald Trump does is create chaos. That's all he does. He hasn't fixed anything. Half of you all can't afford your food. You know, it's just one thing after another because you decided to elect a criminal thug. So unfortunately, this is what they're dealing with in Minnesota. They said more than 1,000 agents have been now dispersed to Minnesota. When are you guys going to get it? Donald Trump is doing this specifically because he wants to stay in office. So he is creating all of these different things all over the world because he wants to stay in office. He's not doing anything. So this is what's going on now in Minnesota, thanks to dusty felon pedo president Donald Trump.
Are set to deploy to Minneapolis. That is according to two federal law enforcement sources. An ICE agent there shot and killed Renee Good just last week. Let's get to CNN's Whitney Wild for the very latest on all this. In this additional deployment, Whitney, what are you learning?
Well, this is a massive increase, John, because this was already the largest immigration action to date with 2,000 agents spread throughout the Twin Cities. Now we know that it's going to be a 50% increase, 3,000 agents spread throughout that area. This is according to two sources. According to CNN's Priscilla Alvarez, Customs and Border Protection Commander Gregory Bovino had already been on the ground. He is going to be part of this operation. He is a well-known figure. He led operations in Chicago, New Orleans, and Charlotte. One of the sources telling Priscilla that he is going to be conducting targeted operations, which include door knocks. And in those situations, the documents that are provided to those targets will include administrative warrants, which are signed by an immigration officer, but do not carry the same legal weight as a judicial warrant, or they will be copies of final orders of removal. John, as you mentioned, this all comes on the heels of an ICE officer shooting and killing Renee Nicole Good. Leaders in Minneapolis and leaders at the White House have two completely different ideas about what happened. The White House continuing to defend that officer, saying that he feared for his life, that she attempted or did run him over, saying that this was an act of domestic terrorism. Kristi Noem doubled down on those comments in an interview with Jake Tapper on Sunday. Minneapolis leaders say that could not be further from the truth. She posed no risk to that officer, that this was a completely unjustified shooting, and they are calling for more local involvement in a federal investigation, which at this point is being led exclusively by the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minneapolis. New over the weekend, John, Democratic lawmakers attempted to enter an ICE facility. They were inside briefly before being escorted out. On Thursday of last week, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem had changed the policy about allowing unannounced visits by lawmakers, saying that they need at least a week's notice. And John, the reason for that, she said, was that it's too difficult to move around the staffing that is required for an unannounced visit. Basically saying when you have these lawmakers who just show up, that means that they have to take agents off of other important tasks and instead escort them inside these buildings. So now saying no more unannounced visits. Instead, they want at least a week's notice, John.
All right, so just some of the new developments there. Whitney, we know you're keeping your eye on it. Thank you very, very much. Kate.
Let's talk about these new developments with someone who knows everything about them. Joining us right now is the former acting director of ICE, John Sandberg. It's great to see you again, John. So first, on the hundreds of more officers that are now being sent into Minnesota to back up ICE agents while they continue operations, what do you think that will do to the situation?
Okay, I think it has a real risk of inflaming the situation. We really need to de-escalate things in Minneapolis right now. The state and local
I didn't even realize I was on mute, child. Oh my gosh, thank you. But what I was saying is, we are not getting anywhere as a country with Donald Trump in office. If you voted for Donald Trump, I'm sure you should have thought about it and said, like, what are we achieving here? I saw somewhere where Donald Trump said that he's cutting off everybody's SNAP in Minnesota based on this. So this man is not right. He does not need to be the president of this country. Nothing is happening here. People done lost their jobs, can't afford food, housing crisis. What exactly is Donald Trump doing except for stealing money for him and his family and then trying to bully cities? Like he's trying to get $6 million now from Georgia. Only thing Donald Trump is interested in doing is getting richer. He don't care about nobody but himself. And since he's been here, what has happened? Has your life been any easier? Have your food been any cheaper? I mean, if I go to the store and buy one meal in the grocery shopping, and that's just for one day, it's damn near $100. So I don't know what you guys are doing to make your life better, but we got 3 more years of this shit. 3 more years. Now, y'all can talk about Joe Biden all you want. Even if Joe Biden was asleep the whole time, at least we didn't have to worry about this type of stuff. It's unsafe. Now we're living, guys, ICE was meant, he's utilizing ICE against the very people, the people that live. We are United States citizens. Why is this man, this president, using ICE against us? That was not the intended purposes. Like, this has gone to shit. It has gone to the entire left. And then even ICE as an organization, don't nobody respect ICE anymore, because it's like they have turned into straight thugs. They have turned into straight thugs, and the way that they're treating these people is sad. It's sad.
Have indicated they do not want this extensive presence, right, of immigration enforcement agents in the city. This doesn't mean, so I think what I'd like to see is we reduce the visibility of the deployment here. This doesn't mean we have to say we're abandoning immigration enforcement. I think some people have tried to characterize it as either you have these mass deployments where you have no immigration enforcement at all. We know that's not true. ICE has arrested millions of people since its inception without these images that we're seeing now. But by doubling down and redeploying, we're sending the opposite message that we do not care what the state and locals think. It's going to trigger more, and it's also just going to inflame the passions of these protesters. And Kate, very quickly, what also concerns me is where we're getting these agents from. These are Border Patrol agents, primarily. That they're just not trained or experienced in doing operations in these urban environments. They're trained for the border itself. So the nature and the experience level of these officers themselves, that concerns me as well.
Well, it's really an interesting, important point. What do you think of the change in policy John was just talking about with Whitney Wild, that the Homeland Security Secretary just put in place? No more unannounced visits. They cannot accommodate unannounced visits by lawmakers to ICE facilities. They now need a week's notice, saying that they just can't accommodate it. Does that make sense to you?
Kate, listen, it's disruptive when a member of Congress drops in on a facility. I appreciate and understand that. But I think what this goes back to a larger point, which is the administration, especially at DHS and within ICE, has really eliminated a lot of that accountability and oversight of the agency. They've diminished the funding of the, and basically effectively neutralized the internal detention ombudsman at ICE. They've eliminated or completely, cut back on the Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Office. And there's obviously been across the federal government restrictions on inspectors generals. When you're at an agency like this, all of those means of oversight really do help ensure that you're trying to do, try to do things the right way. And so while unannounced congressional visits, and that is something that Congress themselves put into appropriations bills demanding that right, while they are frustrating, while they can be inconvenient, the point is that they are unannounced, that congressmen can drop in at any time and see exactly what is going on inside a detention facility and make determinations about whether or not, ICE is doing its absolute best to provide for the care and custody of the detainees. So I appreciate and understand the department's position. That said, I do think these kind of things are just helpful in keeping everybody, held accountable.
Yeah, and especially when you've got the local, the state investigative agencies saying they've been boxed out in the investigation into what happened with the fatal shooting of Renee Good. The FBI saying they didn't really kind of trust that this joint investigation could be conducted. There's a lot of distrust and a lot of question of what can be trusted. To that point, I wanted to ask you, the Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, was on CNN yesterday with Jake Tapper, and during the conversation, she said that the officer's life in that encounter was threatened and warranted a lethal response. But then...
So, did you guys, the video that you watched, did you see that the officer's life was in danger? What y'all saying in the chat? It didn't look like anybody's life was in danger. The car was going in another direction. So do you guys, help me out? Help me out. Do you all feel like the officer's life was in danger? I didn't see because I wasn't there, but the officer had his weapon already drawn and was at the window. So, imagine being in a car and they have their weapon. This is too much. Somebody said we got 1,000 more days of Trump. Somebody said Trump only has 1 more year. Woo, please. I hope, let's hope it's 1 more day. Maybe he won't wake up tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe this is the last day.
Said essentially it's apples to oranges when comparing alleged violence against an officer in Minnesota to the convicted violence against officers that happened during January 6th. Here's just a piece of the back and forth with Jake.
Every single one of these investigations comes in the full context of the situation on the ground. And that's one thing that President Trump has been so focused on, is making sure that when we're out there, we don't pick and choose which situations are and which laws are enforced and which ones aren't.
I just showed you video of people attacking law enforcement officers. Undisputed proof.
Okay, so let's kind of get into what he's talking about. So this chick, Kristi, all she does is lie. You guys already know about the insurrection when, all of those people tried to unalive officers and all of that stuff happened at the Capitol. Did you guys know that Donald Trump pardoned all of those people? So why would Donald Trump pardon a bunch of criminals that come in the White House and try to unalive people? And some, I think there were a few people that actually died. So Donald Trump pardoned those people because he said they were very good people, right? Don't make much sense.
Undisputed evidence. And I just said President Trump pardoned all of them. And you said that President Trump is enforcing all the laws equally. It's just not true. There's a different standard for law enforcement officials being attacked if they're being attacked by Trump supporters.
John, what do you see here? What do you think of her reaction?
Kate, I think we're having a growing credibility gap at ICE and DHS, right? We're sitting here, it just begins even with who we're arresting. The administration repeatedly says we're arresting only the worst of the worst. The data suggests strongly differently. Here we have, before the facts are in, we've made rushed conclusions that this was a proper shooting, everything was followed, despite every available protocol saying you wait for an investigation to be completed. So how do you then have any credibility in the outcome of that investigation whenever whatever results are done when the secretary herself has repeatedly concluded that without a doubt, this is it was a valid, justifiable shooting. I guess my point, Kate, is that this is the kind of thing that impairs the ability of ICE to do its job. And this isn't just a partisan thing. And that's part of what concerns me is we've really made ICE more of a political football. Immigration enforcement is always political, but it's about which side are you on? And the problem is ICE is there to defend the entire United States of America. There's a way of doing this without making it so partisan that allows for more effective law enforcement protecting all of us.
Boy, this is not good, not good. What are y'all saying in the chat? What are you guys saying in the chat? Midterms coming. Midterms are coming. You are right. Get your ass out there and vote. Vote, 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 vote. We have to put these crazy people in jail. Did y'all see that that speech that Donald Trump gave that said if the Democrats take over, they ass going to jail? Why would he say that? Because they're following the law. Get out there and vote. Get out there and vote. We got to get these people out of here. We got to get these people out of here. People is snatching people out their beds, off the streets. Are you kidding me? We got to get them out of here. Somebody said, I watched Noam interview. She's just like the other in the administration. Oh, yeah, all she does is lie. Like, it is so triggering to even watch her. It's triggering to watch the entire administration. All they do is lie. And this is why, in all honesty, guys, even with the media, because a lot of them have to get their they have to get the the president's approval. They are pretty much just saying whatever Donald Trump says, just like the dumb idiots in the chat, Trump supporters saying go back to Africa. Bitch, I was never in Africa. These people are ignorant. Donald Trump is a pedo like a lot of his supporters. Donald Trump is a criminal like a lot of his supporters. And I can't wait till that dilapidated bastard goes to prison. I want all of them gone. And this is not even a Democrat Republican thing, but at this point it is, because we need to get these criminals out of there. They are stealing money left and right. That's why Donald Trump is telling his old loony ass supporters to make sure they vote for him, because he knows when they walk his old dilapidated stealing ass out of there that he gonna be escorted into a jail cell. And I cannot wait. I can't wait for the day to come. I can't wait for the day to come. You see his ignorant supporters, they're racist. They put all kind of stuff in your chat, tell you to go back to Africa. I'm more educated than your entire family of pedos, because I ain't gonna get into that, but you know where you came from. This is the type of hate that they spew because they're ignorant. You want to tell me to go back to Africa, but Trump is a pedo. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You Trump supporters are weird. You're weird. All of y'all are weird. How do you support a man that supports people that do stuff to kids? You weird asses. It just doesn't even make any sense. So make sure y'all come back today. Actually, today I'm going to come back at 6 because I'm running a little late today. But as for this channel, my regular time is going to be 10:30 a.m. And that is, 10:30 a.m. starting tomorrow, and then 5:30 p.m. But today I'm going to just come back at 6:30 p.m. because I actually had a hearing that I actually just attended for my other channel. But make sure you guys get out there and vote. And I'm just going to tell you, if you are a Republican, I'm going to tell you vote Democrat. And then when you get some Republicans in there that got some sense, then maybe you want to vote for them again. But right now, we don't have anything there but a bunch of criminals. We got a bunch of criminals in the White House. We have a bunch of DEI hires, which is crazy because they want to get rid of DEI as if it helps Black people or minority people, when DEI help white women, okay? It never really helped us. So get rid of it, okay? So you guys make sure that you vote. Make sure you know what's going on. Stay away from the mainstream media. They are lying, spewing lies. There are a few channels here on YouTube that is going to tell you guys exactly what's happening. Make sure you check those people out. And I'll see y'all back here at 6 o'clock.